Good afternoon. Torch Sports is deeply saddened by the death of Wes Rucker, UT graduate and former sports writer at the Daily Beacon. Rucker, 43, died in a car crash in West Knoxville yesterday. This morning, Tennessee men's basketball coach Rick Barnes had this to say.
As you know, we lost a friend and a colleague yesterday in Wes Rucker, and it's just heartbreaking. It really is. It's just heartbreaking, and our hearts and prayers go out to Lauryn, son Hank, and the one that's on the way.
I know all of us at not only Torch Sports, but the University of Tennessee and Vol Nation send our condolences to the Rucker family. Now, everywhere you look, Tennessee is there. Lady Vol softball takes the #1 rank. Swim and dive takes medal after medal at SECs. Baseball slams through opening weekend with a 4-0 start. And basketball is still in the heat of SEC play. Live from the studio, we welcome you back to your favorite Friday Fix, your source for all things volunteer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Torch Sports. Before we get into hoops, we have some updates to the ongoing Joey Aguilar eligibility battle. Now, Grayson McGinnis has been following this case since the very beginning. Grayson, what's new since last week?
Thanks, Alex. Vol fans, we have updates regarding the Joey Aguilar case. So far, the Aguilar case has yet to reach a decision that will decide Aguilar's future in terms of what level he will be playing at next year. Aguilar's party is fighting to give Joey Aguilar an extra year of eligibility to play for the Tennessee Volunteers. On Friday, Joey Aguilar had his court case hearing in which the Knox County Chancellor said he would not make a decision until he reviewed some of the 1,200 pages filed in the case and reviewed state laws that were important for this case. The NCAA argued that Aguilar's party did not provide the fundamental evidence in an antitrust suit, such as the argument that Aguilar's party is making that the NCAA's current JUCO rules denied him from benefiting from NIL funds. Antitrust suits require substantial economic evidence based on what the current market is. The NCAA also argued that allowing Aguilar to play another year would allow college football players to play up to 18 years. The chancellor informed both attorneys that his decision would be made very shortly. In the meantime, Aguilar has accepted an invite to attend the NFL Combine throughout next week and seems to be focusing on being prepared for the professional level. That's all the information we have so far. Torch Sports will continue to follow this case as it develops, so make sure to stay tuned to our socials on the latest up-to-date information for the Aguilar case.
Thank you, Grayson. What a wild time to be a collegiate athlete. I mean, just what in the world is going to go on with that situation? Now, I'm here with some of the best in the business. We've got Jack Glennon, Jordan Smitherman, and Alexie Cowan. And yes, that's high praise for me, so you better perform here today. We've got the men's basketball cast with us today. And Saturday, Tennessee is going to be looking to avenge the football team and take back that Big Brother title by traveling down the road on I-40 to Vanderbilt. We've got to discuss that. But first, we've got to give credit where credit is due. It's been 11 years since Rick Barnes was announced as the head coach of the Tennessee men's basketball program. In that time, the program has seen 7 straight NCAA tournament appearances, 3 SEC championships, 4 Sweet 16 appearances, and 2 Elite 8 berths. Above all else, we've seen a consistent role model for an athletic department and a university. This past Saturday, in front of a dark mode Valentine's Day crowd, Barnes treated it like any other game. But after a 73-63 victory, he had achieved history. Rick Barnes notched his 250th career win on Saturday, putting him in an elite group of only 9 coaches to ever win 250-plus games at 2 Division I schools. That's coaches like Kelvin Sampson, Bob Huggins, Dana Altman, Jim Larinaga, and now our own Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes is just, there's so many things I admire about Rick. His faith, his kindness, his whole story is so inspiring, and there's no better coach to be rewarded with something like this. And you know, just in what you heard him say about Wes Rucker, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his kids and the little girl on the way. That just breaks my heart. But that shows you what type of man that Barnes is. Just loving, caring, and he's a tough coach, but he's a great man and a great leader. And one of my favorite things about him, it was so funny at the dark mode game that we were at against LSU, he had the funniest comment about the dark mode music that they played. I think we have it up here if we can pull it up.
Pre-game song before you guys tip off.
That music?
Yeah.
Oh, you kidding me? Come on, man. You know, I'd still rather play Sweet Georgia Brown. That music on the video, I've had them change it twice. I'm like, who wants to listen to that? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if I can't understand something, how can I enjoy it?
That is so Rick Barnes, just to a T.
Second greatest
Rick Barnes
coach.
core.
Second greatest coach in Tennessee history, only behind the great Ray Mears. And that goes beyond just the character that Alexie was talking about, the leadership, the sheer tough love kind of Rick Barnes that we've come to know and love. Second most winningest coach in Tennessee history, 250 wins like you mentioned. But Ray Mears, 278 wins, so he's got a little bit of ownage on Rick. But Rick still has plenty of time to pass out with his new lifetime contract. But when you look at Rick Barnes, his adaptability to the basketball game has been so impressive. When he came into this NCAA coaching sphere, there were only 18% of shots behind the three-point line. Now it's over 40%. So he's been able to adapt and maintain success at this level.
One thing that stands out the most about Rick Barnes is his ability to develop players. That might be his greatest trait, if not his greatest. You look at players like Jemai Mashack, Dalton Knecht, Chaz Lanier.
Zakai Ziegler.
Yes, and all of these except Zakai are NBA players. When they came to Tennessee, they were under-recruited, under-hyped, and Rick Barnes' ability to develop and progress those players who were under-hyped, under-recruited, and to consistently turn them into NBA players is one of the most impressive feats I can think of.
And not even NBA players. There's so many overseas players, too, that are also going and doing big things overseas and playing professionally.
And not only are they great players, but they have also become great people
Great
under
men.
Rick Barnes'
Leaders.
leadership.
100%.
There's just so many things you can say about the head ball coach at Tennessee, and one of them is just the character that he brings to the court, and also not really the classroom, as he's not a teacher, but just the program.
But the world.
Their slogan as a program is Enon. It's not about me, and that's the way that Rick Barnes lives his life. Now, after the big win at home on Saturday, the Vols turned their sights to the Sooners on Wednesday and had a blowout performance. It was a good one. They were able to win 89-66. For the X's and O's and how this one shook out, let's send it over to Nick Rose and Charlie Fernandez. What's going on over there, guys?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. As we said, Rick Barnes picked up his 250th win for the Vols. Here's a big reason why so far this year: defense. Nademan gets in the passing lanes, tips this pass up, intercepts it, runs the break. You see Gillespie filling here, just open on three-pointer. You can't leave that to a great shooter like him.
Yeah, another one. Jalen Carey, high post, going to dish it to Gillespie. Watch Gillespie pump fake. Watch Akpara here. He's going to call for the ball. You know what's coming. Alley-oop. They've done this so many times this year.
Yeah, Charlie, once again, another defensive play. This time, drive. Amari Evans sticks his hand in the cookie jar there, knocks it loose. Bishop Boswell runs the break. Gillespie gets this one, fakes a three, attacks, gets an and one, or not an and one, sorry, but a tough bucket in the paint there. Vols have been excelling at points in the paint and defense, but it's not the only reason for their success.
That's right. No, I mean, 8 steals by Gillespie in this one, but they aim at another big reason why they've been able to have success. Let's talk about the play of the night. Felix Akpara getting dished to his playmaker, shot clock winding down, and Nate is going to cash in for the three-pointer. Well, Nate Aim is going to be a big reason of why they will need to beat the Vanderbilt Commodores, especially their defense, too, in the second half later in this game. They play Vanderbilt Commodores before they travel to Columbia to play the Missouri Tigers. Both of those games are on the road. Alex, back to you.
Thank you, guys. And there's no doubt about it, Porter Moser was going insane on the sideline trying to come up with an answer for Rick Barnes' squad. But that was a big statement win for Tennessee, and that'll prep them for Saturday when they travel west for a major matchup with number 19 Vanderbilt. Now, at this point, if the SEC tournament started today, let's take a look at what it would look like. Now, Tennessee currently sits in a three-way tie for second place. With a win, the Volunteers would move to 10-4 in conference play, and pending the result of both Alabama and Arkansas's game later tomorrow afternoon, it could put Tennessee in a serious contention for a double bye in the SEC tournament. Now, with a loss, Tennessee would drop to 9-5 and into dangerous territory with a logjam of 5 SEC teams sitting at tied for 5th, including Vanderbilt. To put it plainly, with a win Saturday in Nashville, Tennessee's path to a double bye gets much easier for the SEC tournament.
My question to you guys is, will JP Estrella be back on the floor? What we didn't talk about yet is that he did not play against Oklahoma due to left foot soreness. And in the presser after the game, Barnes said that JP had been battling this a long time and didn't tell anyone about it. And they didn't give a timeline of when he would be back. And he's had double digits, 4 of his last 5 games played, 16 against LSU. That's a guy you need.
No, it's not. I don't think it doesn't matter. The forward play for this Tennessee Volunteers team has been so poor this season. They've gotten so much rebounding from native men along with the guards. They've been dominated inside. You look at the games like they played against Duke, against a guy like Cam Boozer, who absolutely had his way with this Tennessee team, 22 points and 23 rebounds. Are you kidding me? It's the forward play has to improve. This Vanderbilt team is tough inside, 4th in blocks per game in the SEC, shooting 78% from the free throw line. So if you foul them, they will make you pay. But look at this play by JP Estrella. Can't finish at the rim. He can't shoot the ball. He's a weak rebounder. He's a terrible defender. I have a lot of problems with it, but I just think that there's better forward options on this team than JP Estrella.
And Felix Okpara had 18 points the other night as well, stepped up in JP's absence.
That's once. Is he going to step up again?
I think
he's been
he
stepping
could.
up for
Yes.
2 years. He's been absolutely fantastic. Yes, he's a tremendous shot blocker.
JP is a good player, but he's not a difference maker.
Felix Okpara is a defensive difference maker, 100%.
I would love to have you two argue over JP Estrella's qualities and if he is a dominant player for Tennessee, but I have a feeling that they're going to need him coming down the stretch just because of the size and quality. But
you say so.
And the lack of rebounding.
And anyways, there's only 4 to go after tomorrow's game. And there's still a lot on the table, with or without JP Estrella. And this group's going to have to put it together to impress and hope for any deep run in March. It all starts tomorrow in Nashville as Tennessee tips off versus Vanderbilt at 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. It is almost that time of year, folks. Who does not love March Madness and just the insanity that it brings? Now, unfortunately, that's it for us. And we're going to be talking all things Lady Vol after the break. But in the meantime,
that's going to be a conversation.
Oh, it definitely is.
Great for them.
Let's go to Sophie Starkey first, who sat down with Cade Phillips to talk about his season-ending injury. Here's the story.
Last March, Cade Phillips helped power Tennessee to an Elite 8 run. This season, he's been forced to lead in a different way.
The plan was to be the same as ever. Work as hard as you can and go after every year like this is your year. And I want every year to be a breakout year. So that was the goal set.
Everyone has a plan until they don't.
January 4th of last year, first game of SEC play against Arkansas, I dislocated my shoulder. I tore my labrum partially. We go into Vegas. We play our first few high major games of the year. And we get through that tournament. It was almost all the way torn through, which basically means not a whole lot's holding on to it. And Chad came up to me and he's like, "You just can't keep doing this."
You have this plan going into your junior year, and then it comes to the unexpected halt with the injury. What has been the lowest point for you?
It's definitely a roller coaster of the monotony of rehab and getting to experience playing with this team, being with the guys and winning, and then all of a sudden be removed. Every game comes down to a possession here, and so to think that, maybe if I did try to stick it out or try to do whatever, then maybe I could steal a possession, but knowing that that's not the case, just making up scenarios in your head.
This season, Phillips is watched from a different vantage point, but in doing so, he's found another way to lead.
Beginning of the year, thinking about leadership and what I was going to have to step up to do, this was not at all what I thought. It's being more of a friend than a teammate is definitely what has kept me not even coping, but honestly finding a new mission.
Overall, maybe when you look back on this one day, what do you think this experience has taught you about yourself?
I think it's definitely taught me that, you can get so caught up in what you're doing that you forget to look around you. And I think that is where I'm at right now, is that I've been so focused on trying to just think basketball, think one practice at a time, that I would forget to look around and see what other people are doing, what other people are going through, and how life around me is moving.
Phillips will miss the rest of the season as he continues his recovery and has applied for a medical redshirt. From the sideline, he's still leading and still running.
Welcome back, guys, and how can you not love Cade Phillips? Hope he has a speedy recovery. as he gets through this injury. But now I have with me at the desk for an interesting conversation Lauryn Gempler, Taylor Lankford, Matayaus Phothirath. And on Sunday, Tennessee Lady Vols almost got it done. Almost. But before we get into that, our own Connor Whitney is here to bring you an update on Lady Vols softball's dominant season so far. Connor.
Well, thanks, guys. Well, Tennessee softball, well, they've looked a lot better than women's basketball so far. And really the big conversation for the #1 team in the nation has been the pitching staff and the dominance of Carlin Pickens and Aaron Newer. They've looked really good this year. But the big question entering the season was, what was the offense going to look like having lost so much production from last year's team? And so far to this point, this year's offense has looked better in a number of areas. This team scores more runs per game. They get on base more. They hit for more power. Their batting average is up. They've looked really, really good. And to this point, it's truly been a group effort that has led the way for the Lady Vols. Whether it's veterans like Emma Clark or Ella Dodge, who have hit for more power this year. You have true freshmen like Taylon Holly or Elsa Morrison pitching in. The tone setters at the top of the lineup like Sophia Knight and Gabby Leach. There's really so many different names to kind of rattle off because it's truly been a group effort that has led the Lady Vols early on this season. That's why Tennessee has been so good this year. That's why they're the #1 team in the nation. They'll carry their not perfect 10-0 record to UAB later on tonight. They'll take on Missouri State and UAB down in Birmingham, Alabama, and they'll look to continue their early offseason dominance. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Connor, and there's no doubt about it, that team is good, very good, and it deserves your attention. And at Torch Sports, we're going to keep you updated all season long as they keep rolling on. Now, back to the hardwood. It looked like more of the same for Kim Caldwell and her Lady Vols squad, as #4 Texas entered the Food City Center looking to claim its title as the real UT. The Longhorns jumped out to a 14-point lead in the second quarter, but 29 points from Talasia Cooper and a furious comeback later on would have the game come down to its final seconds. Down 2, can Tennessee force extra time? No, they could not. Now, here's what Coach Vic Schaefer had to say about it.
We're here not to be good. Good will get you fired. And so for us, trying to get our kids to be great, because that's what's required at our schools.
Vol Nation expects success. They expect domination. And after Sunday, there was some positive momentum going on within that program. But on Tuesday night, everything went down the drain in Oxford. Facing Ole Miss, Tennessee could never really register a pulse, and Tennessee gave up 31 points in the third quarter while only scoring 20, and Ole Miss would have a 75-53 lead going into the fourth quarter. Now, the buzz surrounding this game came from post-game when Kim Caldwell had a viral handshake with Ole Miss's head coach, Yolette McCoon. The two quickly shook hands before Caldwell stormed off to the locker room.
Just really ready to go, because I like him. So, and sometimes I don't ever take stuff like that personally because the emotions, we're competitive, and she's at Tennessee and that's a lot of history behind that place. And so maybe she was in a rush, or maybe she was upset, and I respect both of them.
So Tennessee would end up dropping this one 94-81 and adding to a list of questionable losses this season.
And look, as we said, they did not perform well at Ole Miss. They gave up 31 points in the third quarter, like you mentioned. That's the most in a quarter this season. And look, it's just not been fun to watch overall. I mean, this honestly, it just seems like directionless basketball week in and week out with no plan. I mean, watching this team, seriously, I mean, there's not a time this season where I can say that the Lady Vols have played a beautiful game. It just seems like it's the same formula, especially against ranked opponents. I mean, okay, they keep themselves in it for a little bit, and then there's a defensive lapse, and once their opponent gets on a run, they just can't recover.
And it's funny, it always happens in the third quarter.
Seriously.
Every time. There's no consistency whatsoever with this team, but I'm going to look at this handshake because here's my problem with it.
Okay.
I've been at games, I've been to her press conferences. Every time Tennessee loses, she says, oh, there's been a lack of leadership. There's a lack of leadership. We need more leadership. We need people to step up. Then last Wednesday at her press conference, she says, yeah, leadership starts with me. Top down, it starts with me. And then you go act like that? We've all played sports. You know, when you're 3 playing Little League soccer, you're taught you shake the other team's hand nicely. If you're upset, you go in the locker room and you get upset. You don't do that in front of everyone. You have 18 to 22-year-old young women watching you, and that's what you're going to do? That's your leadership?
Yeah, you talk about leadership. A wise man once said, success is not about wins and losses. It's about helping these young fellas be the best versions on themselves on and off the field. In this case, on the hardwood. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. Yes, it looks like the team has quit on you, but when you're yelling at the refs, when you're pouting on the sideline, not shaking opponents' coaches' hands, you're setting an example to your players that seems like it's okay. You've had 2 coaches bail you out after the game in the past week because of your attitude. Yes, you are representing one of the most prestigious women's basketball programs of all time. The standard is always going to be high. The expectations are always going to be high. But win or lose, you have to do it with dignity.
And it's been a PR nightmare for Caldwell ever since the South Carolina presser. I mean, first she throws her team under the bus, and now this handshake situation with Coach Yo. It's just not a good look. And like you guys said, she's the forefront of this team. She has to uphold that professional standard that a head coach should have. But look, I understand the frustration. The way this team is losing and the manner in which they're losing, I'd be upset too if I was Caldwell. But again,
I agree.
Be professional.
Yes, be professional and take it to the locker room. It's been 2 weeks in a row having to deal with this. And Vic Schaefer came to her defense. Yes, this is her 2nd year at this program. That's a lot of pressure. She is a new mom. I completely give her sympathy for that. But just maybe let's not make it so public and keep getting blasted on social media.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, last night she did look a little better. She said, all of our errors at the end of the day are on me. I think that's understood. That comes understood being in this responsibility. Slightly better attitude. I mean, of course, you have to after what happened, but I feel like she's just tired of losing.
And I'm glad you mentioned last night because we're going to get to that later on. But let's head over to the board first for a breakdown with Charlie Fernandez and Nick Rose. Guys, what in the world are you seeing over there?
Yeah, well, thanks, Alex. Defensive struggles definitely continuing for the Lady Vols, who have dropped 3 in a row now. Let's take a look. Kanaya Boyd. She's going to be driving in. This is selfish basketball. She's got Nia Robertson wide open in the corner. She's going to decide to take it herself and get blocked.
Yeah, Charlie, you mentioned selfish basketball. That's what we've been seeing out of this Caldwell coach team here. C. Spearman doesn't even bother to go and try and contest this short shot. I mean, it's just too easy for him at that point, Charlie.
Yeah, no, defensive struggles continuing across the Texas and the Ole Miss game. 3 3-pointers were allowed by this team. It's points in the paint and defensive fouls. 54 fouls combined in those 2 games for the Lady Vols. Another one, she's gonna have Cody McMahon, who scored 39, gonna get stripped right away. They're gonna go on a fast break. Watch Lauren Hurst and Talasia Cooper are going to get caught back-footed. And at this point, it's a technical free throw right here for Cody McMahon.
Just too easy. This time, she does miss, but pay attention to the offensive rebounds here. 1, here we go, second chance point. She goes back up, misses, gets it again. 3rd chance, gets it and is fouled for the and one.
Gotta get those boards.
You just can't allow that to happen. And it happens over and over again. These fouls and this poor defense is going to cost the Vols a lot of games. They're going to need to step it up against their last 3 games, which are all ranked opponents. Alex, back to you guys at the desk.
All you can do, guys, is just shake your head. I appreciate your hard work over there, but man. And let's talk about it, folks. And last night, Tennessee needed a rebound win. They had A&M come into town, Texas A&M, and people were thinking this could be the game that they win. They've got a tough stretch coming down, and they lose, 82-74, a game where they never led. And once again, the Lady Vols were trying to make a comeback in the 4th quarter. They had a roaring comeback to get this one down to 2, and they just could not get it done.
Well, I had the privilege of getting to cover this game last evening and was reporting live from there. I had no words afterwards. It didn't really hit me the fact that we lost to this Texas A&M team. They lost. Going in, they were under 500. Tennessee was simply outplayed. Out of the gate, they allowed A&M to shoot 80% from the field, starting on a 10-0 run. The Lady Vols tried to slow down the bleeding in the 2nd quarter, but in the 3rd quarter, once again, were outscored 22-9. I genuinely don't know what's going on at halftime in the locker room. It's like they're putting a lullaby. Now they cut it to 2. They tried to cut it to 2, but ultimately Lamai Hilton hit a dagger 3 with 40 seconds left. That put the Lady Vols to bed.
Yeah, and this is a game that Tennessee kind of needed to win because now next week they're going to play 3 top 15 opponents, and then you get into tournament play. So your schedule for Tennessee, it doesn't lighten up. And this A&M team came in with a losing record, 10-11, 3-9 in the SEC, but they came out guns blazing, and they were able to beat this Tennessee down, never got a lead, and Tennessee just couldn't come back. They couldn't pull it off. Like you said, I don't know what is going on, but they have to get it together.
It was once again a gimme game that went wrong at home. We saw this against Mississippi State 2 weeks ago. The crowd was there. The atmosphere was there. You just can't win. They can't play basketball.
And now Tennessee is in danger of potentially losing their last 6 games to close out the season. I'm going to say it. This could be bad for NCAA tournament aspirations if you continue to lose out. But you just got to keep fighting if you're Tennessee and Kim Caldwell. And we're going to keep you up to date with everything Lady Vol as they return to action this Sunday for a huge matchup, one that they absolutely need to steal against #1 Oklahoma. For Lauren, Taylor, and Matayaus, don't touch that remote. Swimming and tennis are up next on Torch Sports. In the meantime, Arcaden Martin is going to give you a preview on the baseball series starting today against Kent State.
Hey Vols. After an opening weekend sweep over Nichols and a win Tuesday versus UNC Asheville, the Diamond Vols have had a successful start to the 2026 college baseball season. While 4-0 is a great start, Tennessee will be facing a tough mid-major this upcoming weekend as the Big Orange hosts the Kent State Golden Flashes. Here's a preview for what to expect for this weekend's upcoming series. While many might just see the Golden Flashes from Kent, Ohio as just another early season series of no value, the batters in their lineup are no joke. The Volunteers are facing a team with heavy hitters, with 3 of their batters batting above 300. A person to keep an eye on is sophomore Sawyer Solitaria, who is hitting .526 on the season. This is also a Kent State team that is 3-1, and its only loss was Monday night's loss to the Bayou Tigers of LSU in Baton Rouge, where they managed to score 7 on the foes in purple and yellow. However, Tennessee is not lacking in terms of hitting and pitching. Rice transfer Blaine Brown is packing a punch in this Volunteers lineup, hitting 3 home runs in 2 games this past weekend. And, oh, by the way, starting at pitcher Tuesday, where he fanned and left batters looking in the inning he pitched, consistently throwing at 94. Henry Ford is also shining bright in this lineup with 2 homers so far, one this past weekend and one against the Bulldogs Tuesday as well. The bats are there, but we can't forget the pitching either. This staff of Coons, Mack, and Blanco held the Colonels to only 3 runs across the weekend, with only 11 hits from them across 25 innings and getting around 8 to 9 strikeouts per pitcher. First pitch for Tennessee versus Kent State is slated for 4:30 p.m. Friday at Lindsey Nelson Stadium with a high of 69. So be sure to come enjoy this great weather at the ballpark. Don't forget to follow Torch Sports for live coverage of all 3 games, and we're excited for this upcoming weekend. Play ball and go Vols.
Welcome back to the desk, everyone, and we're almost wrapped up for today, but we've got a little bit more for you on Torch Sports. Tennessee is playing host to this year's SEC Swim and Dive Championships, and all week long, our very own Max Enos and Hayes Keller are at the Allen Jones Aquatic Center right now. What's going on over there, guys?
Yes, we are here at the Allen Jones Aquatic Center where the SEC Swimming and Diving Championships are currently going on. The men currently sit in 3rd place, while the women currently sit in 2nd place. The 2 teams have combined for a total of 6 gold medals, 6 silver medals, and 8 bronze medals. Hayes, what can you tell me about these gold medal performances so far?
So far, only one man has won a gold medal, which was Bennett Green in the 1-meter diving. Meanwhile, the Lady Vols have been on fire. They won the Camille Spink won the 200 freestyle, defending her SEC record. Jillian Crooks took home the 1 back, and Ellen Jansen took home the 400 individual medley. Meanwhile, in the relays, on the 400 and the 200 medley relay, the Vols take home gold in both breaking an SEC record.
Yes, while those gold medal performances have been key for the Vols, they have also had some noteworthy performances that haven't been gold medals. In night 2, the men's 800 freestyle relay took home the silver medal and set a program record in the process. And then in night 3, in the 200-yard butterfly, Emily Brown did the same exact thing, taking home the silver medal and setting a program record for herself. Hayes, we are entering the final 2 days of this meet. What event are you most excited to see for?
Personally, I'm the most excited for the 200-yard freestyle relay. Last year, the boys won, took gold home for the Vols. Can they defend their gold this year without Jordan Crooks? It's going to be a close race, but I think they can.
Yes, I think so too. That is all we have for you from Allen Jones Aquatic Center. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, guys, and it's like a little taste of the Summer Olympics over there across campus, and we appreciate you for your hard work covering that all week long. You can watch their coverage on any of our social pages. Now, over to a different set of courts than the Food City Centers, Tennessee tennis teams are entering SEC play. Chance Jones is here to keep you up to date. Chance?
Thanks, Alex. Conference play begins this weekend in the world of collegiate tennis, and the men's team will head up to Lexington for a matchup against the 7-3 Kentucky Wildcats, who will be looking to bounce back from a close 3-4 loss against the 25th-ranked Illinois. The Vols are coming off a 6-1 win against Chattanooga on Wednesday night to improve to 6-4 on the season. And Tennessee holds the all-time record against Kentucky, leading the series 69-42, including winning 6 of the last 10. The matchups for Kentucky and Tennessee have not yet been announced for this weekend, but the 30th-ranked Jack Loudett for Kentucky and 56th-ranked Alejandro Moreno for Tennessee will be sure to headline this rivalry game at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Lady Vols will also take on Kentucky this weekend, but they will be hosting the Cats here in Knoxville at the Goodfriend Tennis Center at 1 p.m. The Lady Vols are currently ranked 11th and are 4-1 on the season, with single players ranked in the top 100 at 32, Leila Britez-Riso, and 87th-ranked Catherine Aulia. Kentucky is 7-1 to start the year and have looked really strong in non-conference play. Senior Zoe Hammond is ranked 93rd nationally and will be a key player for Kentucky this weekend. The Lady Vols also hold the all-time record over Kentucky, sitting at 31-19 all-time, and have won the last 5 meetings between these two programs. Admissions to tomorrow's game is free, and you can follow the men's match on their social media for live updates. That's all in the world of tennis for now. Back to you at the desk, Alex.
Thank you, Chance. And I'd encourage you to go check out those tennis matches. They're fun. They have a little tennis ball toss. You throw it out onto the court, can win some Tennessee swag. I've won some in the past, but unfortunately, we've reached the end of the road. We've run out of time this afternoon, and I know I hate to see this just be over. It's a shame. But we thank you for your daily Tennessee sports content and updates. We hope that you'll stay tuned to us on Instagram and TikTok at Torch Sports UTK and on X at Torch Sports _ UTK. We'll be back here, same time, same place next week. Have a good weekend, and let's beat Vanderbilt. Let's beat Oklahoma. Let's beat Kent State, and let's all wish everybody involved in Tennessee sports good luck. As always, I'm Alex Carpenter, and go Vols.